So, if I were to ask you, is it worth losing your soul over this object or that money or that person, even that relationship, that friend, that family member, that mission, that accomplishment, that passion, that hobby? Is it worth losing your soul over it? Your answer would most likely be no, because soul is what we are, right? So, however, I'd like you to see that many times a day. For most people, continuously, they're losing their soul over all these things. So I just want you to have this way of seeing it, so you can remind yourself to come back to that freedom, to that non-attachment more and more often, and actually experience your soul, yourself as a free soul, more and more often. So, since you wouldn't want to lose your soul over something literally, apply that to the fact that actually, kind of metaphorically and kind of literally, almost literally, you are losing your soul over all these things that you say you wouldn't lose your soul over. You just don't realize that you're losing your soul over it. So anytime that you're identified with something that you perceive, more than you're identified with what you really are, you are effectively, experientially, losing your soul over that attachment, over that object of perception, over that portion of this phenomenal hallucination inside of consciousness. So to simplify it, let's just say that what you really are is consciousness. It's a conscious entity. It's a conscious beingness. It's a soul. And this soul, this consciousness, forgets itself for the sake of whatever it's looking at. So many times a day, I would say for most people continuously so. In fact, they don't even remember that they are a conscious soul most of the time, right? So there's no sense of awareness, of being that free principle of that eternal consciousness. So over and over and over again, we lose our soul, quite literally, experientially at least. We're losing ourselves over something else in favor of getting this done, or accomplishing that, or attracting this thing into our lives, or whatever it is, right? Or keeping something in our lives. And why? Is because we're so in love with the sensations of this phenomenal world. We're so enamored by the senses and everything that they offer. And I'm not saying you shouldn't get out there and create the best life you can. That's also part of what I teach, right? And it's part of how I live, to demonstrate what's possible and to have this form be somewhat relatable to those that are sort of being introduced to these teachings. But ultimately, you have to be aware of the fact that you're losing your soul over these items, over these objects, over these people, which are also appearances in your world, many times a day. So if you wouldn't lose your soul over something literally, then why did you keep doing it experientially? Ask yourself this. And then the way to get back to that is to stop all thoughts for just a few seconds. And to rest in the presence that remains, to recognize the consciousness, that isness, that beingness that remains, and to familiarize yourself with this, to become enamored with yourself, to regain your soul in favor of itself. Prioritize it. Remember yourself. Have fun. Do your thing. Create your world. But remember yourself frequently throughout the day. Don't lose your soul over things. Let go.